Hey kids, welcome back to Enter the Atmosphere. This is part 2 of Zero to Atmos, featuring the great Laine Hardy, who was season 17 winner of American Idol. And in last episode, we went across the street to Soundstage Studios, got all the musicians in there, and cut a song that he wrote called "That Man." And now this week we're gonna cut the vocals, we're gonna edit, we're gonna get everything ready to prep for mixing in Dolby Atmos. And stereo, but Dolby Atmos first. So it's gonna be fun. Got a lot to do. Let's get after it.
I'll try not that.
Okay.
Put it in the Atmos theme.
All right, welcome back, kids. Okay, so first up, what we're going to do is we're going to edit these vocals that we've cut on Brother Laine here. So one thing I always do for artists, and because any artist, I don't care if it's Beyonce or whoever, no one wants to let anybody hear their scratch vocals. So I've had questions on why didn't you let Laine sing last week? Well, it's because that was a scratch vocal, and out of respect to him, hey, let's make it right. So we are going to get into comping and showing exactly how that works. So let's go to Pro Tools real quick, and I'm going to just show you what it looks like after I've cut the vocals. So here we are up here in Pro Tools. And this is basically a whole bunch of vocal tracks. So starting about right here was the first comp we did, and then we sang some more what I call beat the comp. So we cut, it looks like 8, 9 tracks, and then we get into a comp, and then we play beat the comp. So we're gonna take all these tracks, combine them all into one, and then after that, then I'll do a little editing on it with Melodyne and a couple little other things. Just make sure the timing's perfect, pitch is perfect. I mean, he sings his tail off, so it's not going to be much work there, but we're going to get into that, so here we go. All right, kids, here we are back in Pro Tools, and we're going to show you exactly what I do when I'm comping and tuning a vocal, how I do it for Atmos, which is actually no different than I do it if I'm doing it for stereo. So, and that's something just to kind of cover real quick. As far as the whole project is concerned, you don't have to do anything special when you're recording it. So engineers, don't freak out there. You have to have all this extra stuff. It's cool if you mic the drums up and maybe in a 714 array or throw up a Decca-tree or something like that. But it's not necessary. It helps in certain kinds of music, jazz, orchestral, things like that, to mic things multiple ways. But when you're doing it just for an Atmos mix for pop, country, hip hop, those kind of things, you just do what you normally do. You record, so nobody freaking out. All right, so here we are. We got our vocal. Let me get my ugly mug out of the way there. So what I'm showing you right now is the edited Laine Hardy vocal on "That Man," and then some harmony tracks that we built. I'll just show you, because I've had a few people asking. I know this is not for my pros. This is just for people that are watching and interested. And I'll just give you the quick what it means to comp a vocal. So I mentioned it last time. We have all these different tracks that make up all the different times that Laine sang through the song. And so what I do is I go down and I listen to every one of these one at a time, usually take it a line or two at a time. And I've made some notes in my, my little handy writing tablet here too, just to kind of know where I think the good stuff is. But let's just say if I wanted this vocal right here, I would grab it and then I'd hit this little button to the left and it pops it up into this master vocal right here. So, and it's just basically, I like that, or I like that, or, oh, that's cool, this is cool, and then that all makes up this one vocal right up here at the top. So we'll go back to looking at that. Wait for them. Okay. So now I got it in here, and it's all little pieces of all the different takes that make up one take. And it's important when you're doing this, especially if you're new to editing vocals, is to really make sure they fit. And not just be listening for the most perfect one, but what makes more sense to the lyric, what makes more sense to the song. If there's that little emotional thing, which Laine's got a lot of that in his voice, it's got a little bit of a raspiness, and pulling that out would ruin his vocal. So we don't want to do that. We just want to make sure we get a cohesive vocal that from start to finish that sounds like a song that builds in the choruses, builds, you know, verse to verse, the whole 9 yards. So hopefully that's what we've done here. So let's put on headphones here. Everybody get your headphones. You'll be able to hear a lot better. All right, I got my handy dandy Odyssey MM500s on here if you're wondering what they are. It's my go-tos every day. Okay, so we're just gonna play. I'm gonna play just a little bit of the first verse, and what I've done, I've already tuned this, and I'll just for kicks and giggles, I'll show you guys if you've never used Melodyne, which I'm sure anybody watching this show has used Melodyne for years, but those that are new, I'll show you here in a second. Let's just play a little bit first, a little bit of the first verse.
I wanna drink less whiskey on a Friday, put the down in the settle. I wanna go to church on a Sunday, talk to God a little more than I am. I wanna be that man. I wanna say what I mean when I say it. I wanna shut up and listen. I wanna wake up and be proud every day of the way I've been living. If I can, I wanna be that man.
Cool. So basically, what those little dots that you see that are kind of right up in here, that's the way the new Melodyne in Pro Tools shows up. So when you come down here and you click it, looks like a bunch of crazy blobs, but when you play it from the start of the song, this is basically his vocal. As you can see, anybody that's ever worked with this before, it's not a lot of editing. It's just I'm taking the tops off here and there and just kind of moving it around, massaging it just a little bit. I'll give you just a little bit of what it's
I wanna drink less whiskey on a Friday, put the down in the settle.
Laine sings great. I mean, this is not a hard job here. There's been times in other vocals and other people that I've had to work a lot harder at, and this was a joy, pleasure. So we go through the whole song and just tune things and make it to where it's like, hey, it feels good, but it doesn't sound robotic. That's one thing I don't like about sometimes when people use auto-tune and things like that and just set it and turn it up, you hear it and that doesn't sound natural. It's great for things when you're trying to come up with an effect like an R&B and stuff like that, but in a country song you want to hear that emotion. You don't want to, you know, carve all that out. So that's what we did. I went through this whole entire song start to finish and just tightened them up just ever so little bit. Now in here because I wanted to hear how it would sound, and sometimes we'll keep these, sometimes I'll, you know, hire another singer to come in and do harmonies, but this sounded kind of cool, and I built these in Melodyne. So what I did is I took Laine's voice and I made a copy of it on a new track, and then I went in and in Melodyne I built harmonies. So I took a bunch of these and moved them up or moved them down. Most of this is an under harmony, like a 5 under kind of harmony, and it varies at times just because of the chord changes in the song. And this is kind of a finesse thing. I just something you learn how to do just from doing it over and over and over again. But I'll show you what it sounds like. And then before I jump to that, so this track right here is the first harmony I did, and then I make a duplicate of that harmony and I bring it down here, and then now so you got two of them that are exactly the same. Well, that can sound a little bit odd. So what you want to do is I panned one hard left and I panned the other one hard right. So on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Melodyne again, and I'm going to get to the choruses here, and I'm going to go right click, I'm going to select all. Then there's this neat little trick up here in the edit button where it says add random deviations. Now I've already done this, so I'm not going to do it again, but you add random deviations, and the first one I do is I drag it over here to moderate and let her fly. And what that'll do is that's just making just random little micro changes to the pitch, so that the two harmonies on left and right are just a little bit different. Makes it sound more natural, more real. And then the second thing I do is come in and do it to the timing. Same thing, where the timing's just moving just ever so slightly in random spots that makes your ear go, oh, well, that sounds like, you know, it was saying. So anyway, so you get those left and right. And again, the reason why I'm doubling this up, and this is for Atmos reasons, if I only had one harmony and I had them both, you know, in the front, it limits what I can do as far as placement and stuff. So making a duplicate like this and having them spread, man, I can pull those babies back in here into the room a little bit, and it gets huge. It just sounds like this monstrous vocal. So right now I'm playing everything up in the front for editing purposes. Once we start the mix process here, which will be in the next episode, then it immediately will go to Atmos. But for editing purposes, just keep it coming out of the two. It keeps it simpler, because then I'm not tempted, because I want to start moving immediately. But focus on the work, get the work done, then we'll have fun. So let's see. Before we play this, of course, the only thing I got going on the vocal right now, I've got a de-esser. I use FabFilter stuff. I love it. It's absolutely the cleanest, some of the best products on the market out there, period. I use this on every single song. Sometimes I change the order of what I'm doing depending on, you know, who it is. Then here's a little EQ. So as you can see, I'm carving out, and this is on the lead vocal, I'm carving out, you know, 60 and below. Got a little bit of dumping some of that 200 out of there to get some of the mud out of it. 500 range for Laine really helps accentuate vowels and things like that. And then dipping a little bit at 5K. That's to get some of that harshness out, just that top end harshness where it kind of that thing. That gets rid of that. And then I got a little shelf thing coming up here where I'm, you know, hitting a little bit of the fairy dust on the top. It gives him a little bit of whispery back to the top of his vocal. So nothing crazy there. Then I'm running 1176 right first in line. Sometimes I do it second, sometimes I do it. It just depends on the song. And but I'm running it attack at 1, release at 7. Common trick everybody uses. And it's basically just, it's grabbing all that top stuff and real quick. It's a real fast compressor. Then next I'm coming in with LA2A, and this is the Waves product here. And this is that creamy, smooth, been used on a billion records. You know, it's just it's a classic. So it is a much smoother compressor, as everybody knows. It just kind of makes everything kind of, you know, the 1176 is getting it. You know, it's getting it. It's grabbing that stuff off the top and blah, blah, blah. And this is kind of, you know, taming her down a little bit. And then finally, the last little compressor I'm putting in here is the MV2, which is a Waves product. And I'm just basically bringing those lows. So whenever he's singing, he gets a little quiet. This is, you know, the opposite of compression. It's bringing the low end of the low volume stuff up just a little bit. And I'm just a little bit of love on the top end too. So after that, the only other thing I've done just for listening purposes, and this is not something that I'll wind up using probably in the mix, but just because I like to listen to it like that, I've got a little send over here to a verb, and on that verb I'm using the wonderful little Xbox. And guys, if you don't have this, this is the greatest little piece of kit out there that I've messed with in a long time. For quick, let's get a sound. It's going to sound great. It's got a compressor, it's got a de-esser, it's got some EQ in here, it's got reverb, it's got delay, plus you got pitch winders and things, so you can do all kinds of cool stuff. But just a quick verb and a little bit of delay, and it syncs automatically to your tempo. You can throw it on there, and now it sounds more like a record. So that's all I'm doing right now. And as you can see on the rest of this track, I got a little R bass on the bass just to fill out the low end, because it drives me nuts when I don't have enough low end. And that's about it. I don't think I've done anything yet. Just I played around with a little bit of the drums, just started kind of tweaking on them a little bit, but nothing critical. So it's pretty, this is a dry track. This is right from the tap, right from across the street at Soundstage. So, all right, let's get back to the chorus here, so you can hear the chorus with the built harmonies and Melodyne. Well, I'll just play it all the way through the chorus and check it out. Here we go.
I ain't there yet, I ain't perfect, but I'm working on it. I'm more wrong than right most all the time, but hell, I'm just getting started. Learning on the fly how to be a better guy. I've died trying to fill those boots. I wanna be that man, wanna be that man for you.
Yeah, cool. Cool track, huh? That's going to be a lot of fun. So, basically, after this point, I've got this done, and this is pretty much the holy grail of, you got to get this right before you kind of move on. A lot of guys start with the drums and stuff. With me, I want to get this vocal, at least 80% there before I start into anything else, because, vocal's pretty much the top of the food chain, so let's get it right. So the next thing I'm going to do after this is take it into my Atmos template and start editing from there. So this is just basically coming right off the console over at Soundstage, straight into Pro Tools. I've just changed my ins and outs a little bit to match my rig, but that's all I've done so far. So we've got comp vocals, some harmonies. I'll probably do a few more little doodads and things, some transitional things. I might add some swishes and swashes, some reverse cymbals, maybe a reverse piano thing. I don't know. I'm going to play with it a little bit and see, and just make sure I got all the elements I need. Probably a little bit more than I will need, which is usually the case. I go, oh, that was dumb. What was I thinking when I came up with that? But we'll get all those elements put together. And then the next step is we're going to take it into the Atmos world and start editing and start mixing. So I hope that was pretty self-explanatory. I hope I didn't get too technical for you guys. And I'm excited to let you hear the rest of this song. So we're going to get after it. Before I go here, I want to say thank you to my brand new sponsor, Vocal Booth, who gave us this awesome vocal booth, and it's made where it velcros together, so you can set it up pretty much anywhere. So I'll pull up some pictures here and check it out, and we tweaked it out with I put a hue light into it, because I'm into, you've noticed I'm into all the color things, so I gotta set that where I can make the mood right in the vocal booth. And then we took some triad orbit triad orbit pieces to mount the microphone in. And the mic we got in there were borrowed from some buddies over at Norman, which is the new M49, which is killer. And they also sent over some headphones too to try out. So we're gonna get into that. I'll be showing you more as we get it set up. We didn't have it set up in time for this vocal. The timing didn't work out, but everything I got coming up on the next few episodes, we're going to be using that a ton. So a lot more to come and explain how that vocal booth it rocks. It's awesome, and you can stick it anywhere. So anyways, that huge shout out to our buddies over at Heiserman, who made the H251 that we used to cut Laine's vocal. Wow, killer mic, brother. Man, that thing just shakes me every time I get to hear it. And we ran that through the 1073 OPX over here. Neve and Hugh, our buddies there. Thank you guys. Man, what a killer piece. I don't know what I'd do without it now. So, and again, special thanks out to our new sponsor, Vocal Booth. Also, Odyssey. these MM500s, I live in them. That's how I get mixes every day, and can't imagine not having them. And again, shout out to Fab Filter for the great plugins, and Melodyne for the great plugins, and everybody. So anyways, couldn't do a show without you guys. But that's about it for this week. So next week we're going to get into the mix, into the template we go. Hang on, it's going to be exciting, going to be fun. Everybody have a blessed week, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell down below, and make sure you get notified for all of our upcoming episodes here at Enter the Atmosphere.